name is Esso, E-S-S-O, and he just hangs out a lot. But before we start talking about El Deafo, I thought I would share with you a few of the other books that I've written. I've been an author and an illustrator for about 15 years now, and so that means I've done a few books. I've got Rabbit and Robot is an early reader book, and it's kind of silly. There's another one, I Am a Donkey. And then we've got Itty Bitty, which is about a really little dog, kind of like the dog that I just showed you. And he's super tiny. This one, that one is about a giant bee, about your size. That's the wig. And sometimes I don't write the book, but I illustrate it. I do the pictures for the book. And some of you may be familiar with the writer Tom Engelberger. He wrote a series of books called Origami Yoda. They're about Star Wars. And so he wrote this book, Cranky Doodle, and I did the pictures for that, and that's kind of based on the song Yankee Doodle. Another book that I just did the pictures for was Bug Patrol, and then I also have a series of books about a sock monkey, a monkey made out of a pair of socks. So there's one of them, Sock Monkey Takes a Bath, and that Sock Monkey Boogie Woogie, all about dancing, and Sock Monkey Rides Again. And very soon, there's a book coming out later this month called Comic Squad Lunch. And there's a bunch of different authors and illustrators and comic book people that all contributed a chapter to this. So I've got a chapter in this book, and that's coming out later this month. So I'm kind of excited about this one.
We love Comic Squad. We have Comic Squad here.
Anyway, but what we're here to talk about is definitely El Deafo. And El Deafo is, as some of you may know, it's a comic book form. The whole thing has panels and speech balloons, and it is definitely an autobiography, meaning that it is a story that I wrote about myself, and I also drew the pictures with it. I am definitely, and I actually wear two hearing aids. I've got one in this ear, and I've got one in this ear. And I got hearing a long, long time ago, 1975. I'm 45 now, so I was about 4.5, and I got very, very, very sick. I had a disease called meningitis, and meningitis is an infection of the brain, of the real thin skin that surrounds your brain. That got infected. And I got better. I was in the hospital for 2 whole weeks. Better, but there was a side effect, and that side effect was I had about 90% of my hearing in both ears. So, fortunately, hearing aids really helped me. And so, just to talk a little bit about the hearing aids, I thought that we could all do an experiment together. Okay, it's a 2-part experiment. And the first part of the experiment is I'm going to leave my hearing aid in my ears, and I want somebody, maybe a teacher, could stand in front of you guys and count to 3 like this, without making any sounds. Okay, and so when your teacher gets to 3, I want you guys to shout, "Hello!" as loud as you can. And my back will be turned, and we'll see if I can hear it. And I'll let you know if I can. And then, for the second part of the experiment, your teacher will do this again, and you guys will shout, "Hello!" again. and I'll have my back turned again. However, this time my hearing aids will be out of my ear, and we'll see if I can hear it. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, good. So, if I can see my teacher volunteer, who will it be? Yay, sure do, Miss Spector. Okay, so I'll go ahead and turn around, okay? And then Mrs. Spector can count to 3, and you guys shout as loud as you can. I want you to blow the roof off of the room that you're in, okay? So here we go.
Okay. You guys ready? Okay, watch me, watch me. Shh. Watch me.
Wow, okay, that was loud. I heard that. Even through my computer and everything. Because I had on my hearing aids, okay? So now let me take them out. I'll take this one out and show it to you. It's real little. So this little piece right there, that fits in my ear. And this part right here, that's the machine of it. That's what's doing all the work. They're kind of like tiny microphones for my ears. So now, both of them are out. And once they're out, I can't hear anything that I'm saying. I have no volume. I can understand myself because I know what I'm saying, but I can't hear anything coming up. But I know I'm talking, and I know I must be making sound because you are all looking at me like I'm making sense, so that's good. And also I can feel my throat vibrating a little bit, okay? So pretty sure some volume is coming out, even though I can't hear it. So now I'm going to turn around again, and Miss Spector will count to 3 again, and you guys will shout again, and we'll see what happens. Okay, here we go. All right.
Okay, here we go. Watch me. 1.
Have you shouted yet? Oh my gosh! Well, I didn't hear that at all. So, crazy. So that kind of gives you an idea of, firstly, how little I can hear without my hearing aids, but also just how amazing hearing aid technology is. It's amazing. And it's come a long, long way. When I was first diagnosed with hearing loss, when they first figured out that I couldn't hear, the very first hearing aid I got was a little box. It was actually maybe almost like an iPhone or an iPod, but maybe a little bit smaller. And it had 2 cords with little earpieces that went up to my ears, and it worked really well. But you can see already, or you can tell already, that wearing something like this size is much bigger than this size. And then by the time I started the 1st grade, I actually had a really big hearing aid, which some of you have seen in a video already, is what I understand. But this is it. This is that hearing aid. It's called the Phonic Ear, and it doesn't work anymore, but I can still sort of demonstrate it by putting it on for you. So just imagine every day from the time I was in the 1st grade until the 6th grade, I put this on. And I would get dressed, and let's see. I would put this on, and so it looks like this, kind of. Woo. And then these little earpieces with the cords, they would go into my ears kind of like this. So, in slow motion. Okay, so that's kind of what I look like. But, right now I'm wearing it on the outside of my clothes. But just imagine if you were the only kid, and this was the case with me, I was the only kid in my entire school, not just my entire school, who had to wear one of these. I was the only deaf kid in the whole school, and it was a big school. So imagine that you are the only deaf kid and the only kid wearing one of these, in the whole school, would you wear it on the outside of your clothes? No. But there's nothing wrong with wearing it on the outside of your clothes. But I was very shy and very self-conscious, and I didn't want anybody staring at me and looking at me. So I always kept it covered. So when I had it covered, it actually looked more like got a sweater here. My zipper's not working. Ha ha! Come on, zippers. There we go. Okay, so like this. So when I wore it to school, it actually kind of stuck out of my clothes. It looked funny that way too. And so in the first grade, I was the new kid in the school, and I had this big old thing on my chest. And the other kids were very, very curious. And so they asked me, well, what's going on with you? What's that under your clothes? And instead of telling them that that I was deaf, that I couldn't hear and it was a hearing aid, instead of telling them that, I told them that I was pregnant, that I was going to have a baby, and this was my baby waiting to come out. And that's a crazy thing for a first grader to say. Just imagine it was more embarrassing for me to say I'm deaf, which is completely ridiculous. It was more embarrassing for me to say that than it was to say, yeah, I'm 6 years old and I'm having a baby. So, crazy. I was a crazy kid. But anyway, I kept wearing this hearing aid because it was amazing. It was very powerful, and it was connected in some way to this thing right here. This was the teacher's microphone. So every day when I would wear my hearing aid, and then I would also bring this microphone every with my book, that stuff. And so every day I would hand the microphone to the teacher. She would put it on around her neck, kind of like this, like that. And what it did was it made her voice really loud and really clear, but just for me. None of the other kids could hear the teacher's voice quite like I heard it because they didn't have this big hearing aid. It only worked with the hearing aid. And so when I discovered that I could hear my teacher really well wherever she was in the classroom, like if she was at the front of the class and I was sitting in my desk, she said something like, hello, how are you? I would hear, hello, how are you? But as if she was right next to me, speaking right in my ear. It was really loud and really clear. And so wherever she was in the classroom, I would hear her as if she was speaking right in my ear. Well, soon after I got this set up, I discovered that not only was I hearing my teacher really well in the classroom, but I could hear my teacher wherever she was in the entire school building. Imagine, I could almost spy on my teacher because I could hear her wherever she was. Anytime she left the classroom, I knew that what she said. I could hear her talking to other teachers, hear her walk up and down the hallway. If a class got sure enough, I would, and the way teachers classmates out into the hallway and fuss at it and they're in trouble. Well, I would hear my teacher and my classmates, everything. And in case you're wondering, there's something really personal and private that everybody has to do several times a day, including your teachers, and that is going to the bathroom. So the question is, did I hear my teachers when they were using the bathroom? And the answer to that question is yes. And it was as awesome as you think. It was crazy. It was being able to hear my teacher in her most vulnerable moment. Oh my gosh. Wow. That was power. And another question I get a lot is, well, how did I know that my teacher was using the bathroom? because when people go to the bathroom, they don't walk along, or my teachers didn't walk along with a microphone saying, "Hey, Fifi, guess what? I have to go to the bathroom. Oh, look, there's a door. It says ladies in it, on it. I think I'll go in and relieve myself." No, people don't do that. They just go. So I had to sort of be a sound detective, and I would listen out for things, and maybe I would hear creak, and that was the door of the bathroom. Maybe it wasn't. And then maybe I would hear something like, zip. Uh-oh, what could that be? And then I might hear this sort of rustle, 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 rustle. And then I would hear this sound that sounded like my teacher was standing next to a river. But there was no river outside of my school. I would hear this flowing, watery sound. Where is she? Oh my goodness, I think I know where she is. And I would hear the sound that was the ultimate giveaway, and it's not what you're thinking, not the flush, but but all that stuff, and I put all these clues together and think, oh my goodness, my t-shirt is in the bathroom. So this little thing, even though I can't hear very well at all, which, at least when I was a kid, I felt that to be a great weakness. It really isn't, but that's how I felt as a kid. But on the one hand, I'm this deaf person, but on the other hand, with this thing, I have great power. And so I started to see myself a little differently. I started to see myself as, like Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne, who turns into Batman. Bruce Wayne is this really wealthy guy that just spends his money on fancy equipment, and he straps it around his belt, and he turns into Batman. Well, I was strapping this thing on every day, and I felt like it was turning me into a superhero, El Deafo. And my strength was super hearing and being able to hear the teacher wherever she was at all times. So that is a lot of what this book is about. It's all about trying to make friendships, trying to make friends who really matter. And it's also got a whole story about a boy that I had a huge crush on, and just really, really liked him. And he was one of the first people who helped me to help me share all these superpowers with people, when for a long time I wasn't able to do that. It was too hard to share that stuff. And so, if you do read the book, I hope the main thing that you get out of it is that we are all very, very different people. And everybody feels really different sometimes from everybody else. And that's okay, as long as you remember to share the things about you that make you different, and also to remember that as different as we all are, we all want the same thing. You know, we all want friendships, and we want people to like us, and we want to like other people. And so that's kind of that's what's kind of so great about being different, is we're really not that different at all. So your teacher asked me, or Ms. Spector asked me to share with you, last year I got a Newbery Honor for this book, which is it was a very big deal for me, and she wanted me to share with you the actual award that I got. The winners, the people who actually get the medal, get a medal that they get to wear around their neck. But I got this plaque and a little, I guess you could kind of call that a medal, but it's sort of like a plaque with my name on it, and so I was pretty pleased to get this. That was a very exciting time for me. So I think we have a little bit of time for questions. If anybody would like to ask me a question, I will do the best I can. And just remember, and I forgot to mention this earlier, just remember that I am a lip reader, which means I have to be able to see your mouth really well, and so that I can understand you better. I believe it or not, I don't use sign language. So so lip reading is it. So if one of your teachers would like to pick the person who would like to ask the question, and then that person can ask, and we'll see where we are. Okay.
We'll do 2 questions. We have time for two questions.
2. Okay.
Or Brianna, are you ready? Make sure she can.
That was awesome. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, sure. Sort of all over the place.
I love it. It was great.
Okay.
Okay, here she comes.
Okay.
Can you have a seat? Make sure she can see.
Hey.
Loud.
Hi, my name is Brianna. Did people ever bully you?
Did people ever bully me? Okay, that's a great question. I don't think that I was bullied at all. I think it's possible that people were saying things behind my back, but I didn't hear it, so it doesn't matter. So, but really, I really don't think that I was bullied. The kids around me were very, very nice. The main problem that I had was basically that I was embarrassed and self-conscious about it when nobody else cared, really. But I wasn't really bullied. I was lucky. There was a time I was never bullied about the deafness. I was sometimes teased for being short, because I'm really short, and every now and then somebody did something mean, but it wasn't in relation to being deaf at all, if that makes sense. You know, kids do mean things sometimes. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay. Say hi, my name is Carla. Hi, Samantha.
Hi, my name is Carlos.
Hi.
Do you always wear your hearing aids, or do you sometimes take them off?
Oh, okay, that's a great question. They're in my ears almost all day, but I take them out at night when I sleep. So I sleep really well because I don't hear anything. And I also have to take them out when I go swimming or when I take a shower or a bath because you can't get them wet. But they're in my ears almost all day. Yeah. But I take them out sometimes when people are annoying me and I don't want to listen to them anymore. Shut up, stop! But otherwise they're in.
Thank you.
Okay, teachers, do you have any questions? No? Okay, that was awesome. Thank you so much
Oh,
for
thank
your time.
you.
And they just found out before we talked they all get a class book, so they're very excited. I'm sure that it's going to be passed around like crazy.
Oh, good. Good. I hope
So
so.
what do you guys say?
Great to meet you guys.
Thank you so much.